can't hurt me. How David Goggins forged a philosophy of pain, purpose, and power. You're not weak, you're just addicted to comfort. You tell yourself you're tired, but what you really are is underused, unforged, unchallenged. And David Goggins knew this long before you did. This is not a video about motivation. It's about sacrifice, about pain as transformation, about the violent rebirth of the self in a world that quietly begs you to stay soft. Part 1. The world that broke you. They raised you on shortcuts, told you it's okay to quit, wrapped you in bubble wrap and called it safety, but left your soul starving for something real. And when the world started falling apart, pandemics, layoffs, identity crises, you looked in the mirror and saw someone unprepared, not because you're broken, but because no one taught you how to suffer well. You were taught that comfort was the goal. But Goggins, he tells you the opposite. That comfort is the real enemy. He says, you're in danger of living a life so soft, it never tests your soul. The world broke you by keeping you numb. But Goggins, he broke himself to feel alive again. Part 2, David Goggins, the man who built himself from pain. Before the Navy SEAL Trident. Before the pull-up records and ultramarathons. He was a 300-pound exterminator, depressed, broke, abused, angry. His father beat him. Racism surrounded him. School labeled him dumb. He cheated to get by, binge ate to cope, and nearly disappeared into the system. But then, one night, he looked in the mirror, and instead of asking why life was unfair, he asked, what if I built someone who couldn't be hurt anymore? That night was his origin story, not of greatness, but of accountability. And this became the first law in the Goggins philosophy. Face yourself, or be devoured by who you pretend to be. Part 3. The accountability mirror, your personal reckoning. You lie to yourself every day. You call it optimism. You call it self-care. But deep down, you know it's avoidance. The accountability mirror is Goggins' altar. It's where he writes the ugly truths on sticky notes. I'm fat. I'm lazy. I'm not trying. Not to shame himself, but to take back agency. Because the moment you stop blaming, your life becomes yours again. What sticky notes would you put on your mirror? What truths are you still afraid to say out loud? Hold that thought. We'll come back to it. Part 4. Callousing the mind, your inner armor. You've been told your feelings are everything, that your comfort is sacred, that pain should be avoided. But here's the truth. Goggins lives by. If you want to be unstoppable, you have to suffer on purpose. He ran 100 miles on broken legs. He went through Hell Week 3 times. He broke the pull-up world record after failing it twice. Why? Because every act of suffering built something inside him. A mind so calloused, even fear started to bounce off it. You build physical calluses by lifting weights. You build mental ones by doing hard things consistently. especially when no one's watching. So here's the rule. Choose one discomfort daily. Cold showers, running when tired, studying when bored, calling the person you've avoided. Not because it feels good, but because you're crafting a mind that can't be shaken. Part 5. The 40% rule. The lie you tell yourself. When your brain says you're done, you're only at 40%. Goggins learned that on the battlefield, in marathons, in hospital beds. Your body will break down before your mind. Your excuses arrive long before your limits do. But here's the Goggins paradox. Pain isn't the end. It's the invitation. The moment you think you can't do more, that's when you test if the rules you've lived by are even real. Ask yourself, what would my life look like if I pushed past 40% just once a day? A little longer in the gym, a few more lines on the page, the conversation you didn't want to have, that extra 10% you've been avoiding, that's your destiny, collecting dust. Part 6. Take souls when you become the storm. This is the part that turns suffering into power, the part where Goggins stops surviving and starts dominating. He calls it taking souls. When you're in pain and you keep going anyway, you steal something from the people who underestimated you. You become the person that even adversity fears. This isn't about revenge, it's about embodied proof that no matter what the world throws at you, you don't fold, you elevate. So next time someone doubts you, don't argue. Outlast, outwork, outsuffer, and let the silence of your results speak volumes. Part 7. Modern application. You versus you. You're not in the Navy. You're not breaking pull-up records, but you're in a battle too. The battle is in your mind, in the quiet moments when no one sees. When you hit snooze, when you scroll for hours, when you give up on yourself one tiny decision at a time. And that's where Goggins meets you, not as a seal, but as a mirror. He asks, are you proud of the way you suffer? In your career, do you choose the hard project, the one that might fail, or do you coast in silence? In your relationships, do you speak the hard truths or avoid conflict? In your mind, do you feed the voice of strength or the one of fear? You are in the arena already. Goggins simply demands that you show up with fire. Part 8. The Inner Rebellion. Why this philosophy matters now. You're living in the age of soft rebellion. Outrage without action. Beliefs without blood. Scrolls instead of scars. But Goggins, he offers a different rebellion. A rebellion against the self that wants to stay hidden. Be uncommon among the uncommon. In a world where everyone wants to be seen, he wants to be proven. In a time where people seek validation, he seeks growth. This isn't about becoming like Goggins. It's about becoming fully you, without apology, without delusion, without permission. Part 9. The Death of the Old You. There's a version of you that's already dying. The one who hides, who waits, who bends the truth to avoid effort. You have to bury that version and build the one that's been clawing to get out. Because here's the truth. No one's coming to save you. There is no hack. There is no shortcut. There is only the path of pain, purpose, and power. And it begins the moment you say, I can't be hurt because I'm not afraid of the hurt anymore. Final reflection. Right now, you have a choice, not about what happens next, but about how you respond to it. Will you be soft? Will you break? Will you shrink? Or will you rise scarred and tired, but ready? Ready to suffer, ready to build, ready to face the man or woman in the mirror and say, let's go to war. Not against the world, but against the part of you that's still afraid of who you could become. You're not broken, you're just untested. Subscribe, not to this channel. Subscribe to the version of you that doesn't quit. The one who shows up when it's hard, who chooses discipline over comfort,